Okay, now just give me like 3-4 minutes of your time and I'll show you how to get the best SBA loan in the country that's right for you without hiring some accountant or attorney or expert like that. Okay, now here's what you do. Okay, you go to sba.gov, .com or anything like that, and just go to the main website there, and you see up on top there's grants and loans, or loans and grants. Just click that on. Click that on loans and grants, and then you come to another page, and on the left-hand side of that page, you'll see a listing there under loans and grants, and one of the items says, see who's lending near you. See, there's thousands of banks out there and other kind of financial institutions that are sanctioned by the SBA, you know, to lend you money, you know, and the government signs off on it. See, it's like having a rich uncle co-sign your loan, because if you can't make it, then the government pays it off for you. You know, that's what's so neat. So that's why they're easier to get than traditional loans. Okay, so you click who's lending near you. Okay, you click that and you come to this page here. Okay, and you see there's a place to put in either your zip code or your district or even your city, your district where you live. So I put in Philadelphia, okay, because I used to live near there, Philadelphia. Actually, I lived up in Wilkes-Barre, it's a little further. And then you get, listen, look, what it does is show you all the data of the banks who give money in SBA loans, how much they give, and in what categories. Now here you see, like Wells Fargo in the Philadelphia area gave out 94 loans that were $50,000 or less. They gave out 37 loans that were from $50,000 to $350,000, you know? And they gave out like 79 loans that were from $350,000 to $5 million. See, depending on how much money you have or need, you know, different banks will be probably more interested in you. That's why this is wonderful data. You know, this data is available. It's public information. So you could go down and see, and see, and actually what you should do first is call your own bank. In other words, you contact your own bank because you have a relationship with them. Now, they're going to say yes or no, obviously, or maybe or whatever. And so if they say no, don't forget, they may be talking about just regular kind of commercial loans. Ask them about SBA loans. And then if they still say no, okay, then you're going to go to this list, you know, and to this office. But if they say yes, but you don't qualify, try to find out why, and they'll tell you why. But let's get back to this list. Okay, you go to this list and you see all the banks there. Well, you're still not sure. It's a little complicated or whatever. So what you do is you go down to the bottom of that list and you see the contact information at the Small Business Administration. Now, what's important about that is that they know these banks. And banks lend to different kind of businesses. See, some banks will specialize in restaurants. Some banks will specialize in high technology, you know. Maybe you're an automobile repair or something like that. See, they have different banks specializing in different kind of industries and businesses, so they get to know those industries and businesses so they can understand your business. Because if you're trying to sell a technology business to some bank who doesn't know beans about technology, it's going to be a harder sell. So you want to go to the people that know about your industry and business, because we all have peculiar, you know, ways of doing business depending on what kind of industry you're in. So it's important to find out the banks that lend to your kind of business, you know, and that how much fits your category. And these people that are listed there, you just call them up. I call them up again just the other day just to check, you know, and they said, yes, no problem. We'll tell you wherever you live, you know, the 3 best banks in your area and why and things like this. And now here's something very important that they'll also do. If you don't get the money for some reason, they'll help you get it. And free. See, these are free. Your accountant and things like that are going to charge you, a couple $100 an hour to do anything. they'll do all this for free. So maybe you don't have a good enough business plan or something like that, or your credit is lousy or something like that, and you're not getting it, you know. So they'll work with you for free to make sure you get it. See, what the government wants to do this, number one, you're going to create jobs. All the jobs in our country comes from small businesses nowadays. It's not the big businesses. They make more money by laying off people, not by hiring people. That's how they make money, because the owners are getting paid in stock, you know, and how much their stock is worth. So it increased their stock value if they cut expenses. So that's why it's laying off people. So to create jobs, you know, the country really has to rely on small business. So this is why this program is there to help people get loans for small businesses. So use them advice, because they help you do business plans. Maybe it's your business plan. You don't have a good idea about a business plan or something, because there's a lot of paperwork with these small business loans. And what we're going to do actually is have an app soon that you just put in one zip code or wherever you live, and you get all this data right on your phone. Yeah. And you can call them people right there and everything. So that's going to be cool when we finish that. But until then, you're going to have to go through this process. But here's another neat thing about, I don't know if it's so neat, about small business loans, is the default rate. See, they give out, you know, like $18 billion a year in loans. And look at their default rate is something like 18%, you know, for default. Franchises have 13%. So in SBA, franchises are theoretically have a smaller default rate, but some franchises are crazy, like Amco Transmission. They have 26% default rate. Stone Cold Creamery, you know, they have a 30% default rate. Planet Beach, I guess that's one of those tanning salons. Almost half of their people default. Yeah, so that's amazing. That's why the government loans are easier, because, you know, they have higher default rates. It's really for when you can't get loans elsewhere. See, that's why the government money is around. And while I was looking at that, I was saying, okay, so if the government is lending out money to small businesses and they have like an 18% default rate, what are the other things doing? Okay, here I found an index of default rates on basic business money. And it's right now, it's like 7 or 8%. So it's half of what the small business loans are at the SBA guaranteed loans. Well, here's another thing. I don't know if you know about online you can get business loans, and we're going to have this as part of the app, and these may be better. They'll be easier and things like that instead of small business SBA loans. So this is how to get internet loans for your business that are cheaper, better, faster maybe. Now one of the big people who do this is Kiva. They're international. They have a group here in the USA, but they give money out worldwide to people who are mostly independent entrepreneurs and just need a few $1,000 to start a business or whatever, you know, $5,000, $10,000 kind of thing. And their default rate is half. Or even actually over the world, it's only 1%. These are poor people that don't have money. And their default rate is only 1%. The rich people borrow from banks have a bigger default rate. That's a or Grameen Bank. Now that's another low-income, it's a bank for low-income people to start a business, and they're in the United States now too. And they have a 1.5% to 2.5%. Now you have to meet the federal poverty guidelines to get this money. Okay, you hear that? You have to meet the federal poverty guidelines. You can't make a lot of money to get this loan. You go to the bank. If you're in poverty, this is a loan for you. Yeah. And listen to this, their default rate is 1.5% to 2.5%. Okay, the SBA business loans are 18%. Yeah, what are we doing wrong in this world? Yeah, obviously a lot. Yeah, so that's what. And peer-to-peer lending. I mean, that's another thing that we're going to have in this app too. So you could find out these alternative sources besides going to the banks or even SBA loans. They have a default rate of only 3 and 4%. You know. So it's amazing, and all the online is a heck of a lot cheaper, easier, faster, and nicer, to get a loan that way. But a lot of people still SBA loans. They're giving out $18 billion a year, and I just showed you the easiest and best way to get the perfect loan for you. Now here's how to put an extra 300 bucks in your pocket. And you get it from a guy who just got $13 million for his idea. Actually, the idea is terrific, I think, and it's a new way that our economy is growing. And it's growing with people who are thinking of ways to reuse resources, and this is called the sharing economy. So if you have something that you don't use all the time, somebody else will pay you money to use it. And what these businesses do is, all they do is put up an internet site. That's all I have to do. That's right, you got $13 million making a website that helps people use their cars when they're not using them at the airport. Brilliant idea. So, in other words, if you want to, you're going to fly somewhere, you know, and what you do is you take your car, you drive it to the airport, and you just give it to them. You know, these people are going to take your car, they wash it, they pick you up, actually take your car from when you drop off, they, you know, pick it up, clean it up, and then rent it out to somebody a lot cheaper than Hertz and stuff like that. So it's another way to get cheap rentals at the airport. And then when you fly back, you get picked up at the terminal, you get your car all nice and clean, and you get money because they rented it for you. You know? And it's a terrific, it's a win-win-win-win-win. And the people running the business have no assets. They don't own anything. They don't have to worry about anything at all. You know, they don't own anything. They don't have to have a lot of capital. They just have money to put up a website. You know, so they put up a website for a few $100 or a few thousand, whatever the heck it costs them. You know, and people think that's worth $13 million already. And they're just starting. Actually, they just started now in Washington, D.C. And they're in a bunch of airports now around the country. So watch this video. Nice young fella who started it. And it started just, you know, just like 2 years ago with a buddy thinking about Airbnb and all these things. What else can we do? You know? And so it's now a good place for you to get cars cheaper and a good place for you, instead of spending $100 on airport parking, to make $100 and having other people use your car. That costs you nothing. So you're right there, you're $200 in the plus. So you've traveled twice, now you're $400. So that's a lot more than $300. Watch. Well, Kevin Petrak, and you got this great idea. I don't know why anybody didn't do this earlier, called Flight Car, where I could take my car to the airport, you pick me up, right? You clean my car, you rent it out, you pick me up when I come back, give me the keys to my car, I'm off, and I make money off you instead of paying the parking lot, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so basically we allow you to park, you know, your car with us for free while you're away. And then we rent your car out to other people while you're gone. You know, we clean the car and wash it before, and we have our own insurance policy that covers it, everything, you know, while it's being rented, so it's, you know, very secure. And then when you come back, you know, you don't have to pay for parking, and you can also make money.
So I make money, you make money, and the people who use my car are making money too, because they're not paying like double the price they'd have to with the normal car people, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So now, if I come to the airport and I use one of your cars, how do I get to you? Do you have a van like everybody else?
So it's like the same thing. It's the same thing. You basically just give us a call once you're, you know, at the airport, or, you know, at a nearby train station or whatever,
right.
And we'll basically send a car to pick you up right there, and, you know, take you back to our parking lot.
Wow! So I got limousine service with you too, huh?
Yeah.
So you pick me up, take the car, and I don't have to sit with all the other sweaty people in the van. That's terrific. Well, what was the impetus for this? You were always ticked off of paying high prices, or what?
So yeah, I mean, I travel a lot, and we basically realized that there's one parking lot at the airport with all the long-term parking, and the parking lot right next to it has all the rental cars there. And, you know, we sort of saw that people were already sort of doing this kind of car sharing, you know, in the city, you know. So for just if you're not using your car over the weekend, you know, you can rent it out for a few hours or a day or something like that. So we basically realized that, you know, this problem is even larger at airports. So if people are doing it, you know, in the neighborhood, why wouldn't they do it at the airport?
Mm-hmm. Are the motor vehicle manufacturers after you? They can't sell as many cars, or?
I don't think they're quite scared of it that much yet. I think there's
well, I hope
definitely other people
soon.
That are more after us for now.
And the airports you're at now are which ones? Where are you now?
So we're at San Francisco and Boston, and we're gonna be in LA by the end of the summer.
Oh, really? In LA? Well, I mean, they're three big hubs, boy, and they're really big car cities. You know, it's not like
Yes,
New York. You know, nobody gets a car when they go to New York.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So you got the biggest car city. Well, that's terrific. And I was looking on the site, man. You got sexy cars there too. I mean, it's not somebody's 57 Chevy. Well, that'd be cool, but yeah, a beat
Yeah.
up Dodge in the 80s or something.
Yeah, we do have some requirements, so we won't just take any car. It can't be older than 2001, can't have more than
Uh,
150,000 miles on it, stuff like
uh,
that. Just so we can make sure that everyone has a pretty good experience as well.
Yeah. No, I mean, I saw the pictures of the car. I mean, all the cars are something I'd be curious to even test drive. I'm not much of a car junkie anymore like I was when I was younger, but they all look attractive. I mean, that's what I was surprised. I was thinking maybe it'd be like Rent a Wreck or something like that. I don't know if you know that rental car agency. They have. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, I've definitely heard of them, but no, we definitely get a great variety of cars, from the lower, cheaper end all the way up. So, it's
and
great
you're
it's
covered
great to
by an
see the
insurance
variety.
policy, so I don't have to worry as an owner of a car letting you use it, correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's completely covered, while it's being rented out. So, basically anything happens to it, it'll be covered.
And is your policy more or less like a regular rental car policy? I mean, I just give you a credit card and you charge me 20, 30 bucks a day, whatever it is, and that's it.
Yeah, so our policy covers the owner completely. We also give some free coverage to the person renting the car as well. In that case, it's like a rental car as well, in that your own personal policy will sort of stand in line first. If you
Uh-huh.
have your own car insurance, but our insurance is there as a backup. In case you don't have your own, something like that, just to make sure in all cases the owner gets their car back to how it should be.
I see. So if they wreck my car or something, you're covered, or if I'm not covered, you're covered for something like that?
Exactly, yeah. So if they wreck your car, we'll obviously make sure you get the car replaced or fixed or whatever, and then we'll deal with the renter and all the insurance companies and everything, and make sure that we get it reimbursed to ourselves. But we definitely wouldn't want to make you wait a month, while we're dealing with that kind of stuff.
Ah, well, that's terrific. Well, that's wonderful. Well, I mean, I'm just glad to know you're around. It sounds like, it's the way we're going to go in this country. We got enough cars. We're just not using them properly, it seems. And so if they're there, why don't we get more efficient use out of them? And I guess
Exactly.
really, it's just, it's not a zip car kind of thing. It's somebody private sharing, right?
Exactly, yeah. Zipcar calls themselves car sharing as well. This is a
Yeah.
little bit more, advanced car sharing, in that it's actually people's own cars. As I mentioned, there's a few other companies that do that in the neighborhood, like relay rides and get around.
Ah,
So but they're more like hourly rentals, instead of rentals,
right.
directly perhaps at the airport, or at some kind of transit area.
So zip cars are really a rental car just for short periods of time. I mean, to me, it's
More or less, yeah.
yeah. I mean, you're actually individuals are making out of this, and not the zip car company like they are, which is great. I'm getting more. If I give you my car, I'm making money out of it. For when I'm not using it, which is terrific. Like what you gonna do my lawnmower? Now, if you could throw golf clubs in the trunk of that car, then I could go to San Francisco and have golf clubs too. Now, here's a good example of why it's so hard to find cool programs that you can take advantage of. See, nothing is where it's supposed to be, and it's not called by things you think it'd be called. And like, here's a new program. They just started it. It's called the Rural Micro Entrepreneur Assistance Programs. So it's really for starting businesses, or if you have a small business in rural areas. We're trying to grow that. And it's a fairly new program. It's only been around a couple of years. So people don't know about it. But it's $59 million in grants and loans every year. So how do you know about it? Well, first of all, you have to know the words, right? So you know Rural Micro Entrepreneur Assistance Program. I got to read it to remember it. And it's part of something else called the Rural Economic Development Loan and Grant Program, right? So now you're looking at two places. See, the hardest thing in the government is you don't know what to ask for. This is why we're question mark suit. So if you don't ask for the right thing, the government doesn't know what the heck you're looking about. So that's why you got to get the data, the stuff that they have, and show them what they have, because it's too complicated for any one person to know. There's three of us in the house here, and I don't even know what the other two people are doing most of the time. So somebody running an agency of 5,000 people, you know, you can't make a phone call and expect to know about it. But this money, okay, this is here who it's for. Individual citizens or individuals who have been here legally admitted to the United States. So you don't have to be a citizen, you just have to be here legal. And you're located in an area of the country of less than 50,000 people, okay? So you're a micro entrepreneur, that's a small business of not more than 10 people, because it would just be you. And you don't need more than $50,000, right? So you can't be asking for a lot of money. So they have money up to $50,000 for businesses or sole proprietorships, just you trying to hustle, trying to do something, you know, and you don't have more than 10 employees, so it doesn't matter. Okay, what can you use the money for? Okay, for working capital. That means anything, just to stay alive in business. Purchase furniture and equipment, supplies, inventory and equipment. Debt financing, that's right. So you could use their money to help you get out of debt. Or to buy a business. You want to buy a business. So financing a business. So you want to buy a franchise or somebody else's business, something like that. Or even purchase real estate, okay? Or just prepare yourself to be self-employed. You want to take courses and things like that. So it's really just to improve the small business community in rural areas. Oh, something's traveling here, I just want to do it. Okay, and also what it does, or they're trying to do, is prepare people to live independently in rural areas. So in other words, if they give you 50 grand to get started, and then you'll know how to be self-sufficient. So this is what all this money is about. But the trick to this money is, it doesn't go to individuals. It's given to groups. And what they do, they give it to about 80 organizations all around the country. Now here's a list. They have a list on the site. All these organizations that are getting this money, and then they give it to the individuals. So you can't even go to a government office to get it. You got to find out who the government office gave it to in your area, and then you ask them. And look at the kinds of people, because you never even think. Look, the Southern Alabama Electric Cooperative. Right, so this is like the public utility in Alabama. You know, Columbia City Municipal Electric Utility in Indiana. You know, these are the kinds of people that get this money, who in turn give it to individuals. You know, Fork County Electric Membership Corporation. You know, these are all just trying to help economic development, because see, the power company probably get this money, you know, for free from the government, so they give it to potential customers, see, to start businesses, so they sell them electricity, you know. And here's other non-profit organizations, besides, like Food Kitchen Ventures. Actually, they're a for-profit organization, but they're trying to start small businesses. They're a service that, you know, if you have a food idea, they have kitchens and all this kind of stuff to get you. So what they're doing now is getting government money to hand it to you so you could buy their services to help start a business. They're crazy. Things like, oh, Green Spaces for Life in California. They got this money to give out to individuals. Valley Small Business Development Corporation. Kentucky Highlands Investment Corporation. Maybe these are fat guys looking for business to invest in. They get money from the government and then in turn give it to individuals to start businesses. Or here's another one, East Missouri Action Agency, right? So these are nonprofit organizations again, trying to stimulate business and economic development where they live. Nebraska Enterprise Fund, Center for Rural Affairs, that's in Nebraska also. Grow South Dakota, Wisconsin Women's Business Initiative Corporation, yeah. So they're getting this money. They found out about it. But look at the individual. Here's some individuals I looked up who got this money. Valley Fire Pottery and Espresso. You know, this is a little company out in business out in Nebraska, a coffee shop and pottery gallery that got up to $50,000 for their business. Or here's an interesting one. It's a Flavor 8 soda pop. They're making soda in Wisconsin. Actually, they were turned down by 29 lenders, and they finally got money from them, and I just checked on them too, and they went out of business. So that's why, see, they probably didn't have such a good idea. But see, this is what this kind of money is for, people who can't get it elsewhere. Also, here's an interesting business out in Wisconsin. It's called River West Motor Works and Pet Grooming. So you fix your car and get your dog washed too. I guess they'll wash your car too. Yeah. But these are the businesses. I mean, it's a cute idea, isn't it? So you bring your car in and throw your pet in the back seat and they could get manicured and washed. Or Ultimate Kitchen and Bath in South Dakota. So it's money that, God, you don't even know what to ask for. You know what it is. It's going to the intermediary, which then goes to you. But they're getting government money to give to you. So the government doesn't have to, you know, do the dirty work kind of thing. So how do you find out about it? Well, it's part of the Department of Agriculture. And so you contact your local Department of Agriculture, Rural Development. So you're looking for the Office of Rural, R-U-R-A-L, Development. And if you can't find that somewhere or online, so say looking for U.S. Department of Agriculture, Rural Development, you know, in Colorado or wherever the heck you are, Pennsylvania. And if you can't find it, just call 211. They'll help you. That's an 800 hotline anywhere that knows about government agencies and programs, and they're very good at that. So you just say, hey, I'm looking for the Rural Development Office for my state. That's why you, because you're looking for money. You want to start a business. Got less than 10 employees, and you don't need more than $50,000. Remember that. Well, how would you like to listen to a shattering masterpiece of human history? Are they strong words? Well, this next interview is a young fella. He's like 25 years old that talks like this. He's a cool guy. And, you know, he studied political science. And all of a sudden, like when he's 17, 18 years old, he just got he just saw something in classical music that just turned his life around. You know. And now he's starting a business on the internet that is going to be his whole life. And you can see it in him. And that's what's so neat about the internet now, man. Whatever you have in mind to do, man, you can do it on the internet. Like getting people to appreciate something that you appreciate, you know. And to him, it's classical music. And after talking to him, man, I'm going to one of these things, you know. Because it's cool. It's not like, I mean, I'm old enough and I've seen classical music a little bit, never, but man, I think I am missing something. You know, I mean, something that important in so many cultures. I mean, how do you appreciate? Do you have to put on a tuxedo and go to one of these auditoriums for 2 hours and be bored silly? No. Actually, what he's done is have little symphonies, like 30, 40 minutes in someone's house, and you know about it. You just show up, and the musicians get $10, and you sit on the floor with a nice bunch of people and listen to something creative, and then after that then a party starts. So it's a way to party. It's an excuse. Mostly they're millennials doing this thing. I think it's just a whole big hoax for him to pick up girls or something like this. I'm not sure. But it's a wonderful idea. When you watch it, you'll see the passion that he has for something, and that's what's so neat about our internet economy now. No matter what your passion is, man, you can carve it out. So he's going to make a living doing this for the rest of his life. You could swear by that when you watch him, and it's simple. And he said he's got so many people hooked on this. Most of the people, he said, that comes to these things never heard classical music before in their life. And see, what they do is get young classical musicians who aren't working a whole lot, and they just love to play. And so anybody's home could have it, and you hook up, you say, hey, we're going to have it Friday night, we're going to have a group here, and you want to come over, and they're vented on the internet, you know, so you don't get some weirdos and things like that. and you show up, and you can have it at your house, somebody else's house, or whatever. Everybody sits on the floor, listens 45 minutes, and he said, and being that close to musicians and people who are playing for purely love. I mean, they're not in it for the money. You're going to these places that everybody's in it for money, and everybody's got dollar bills in their heads or on their heads because other people see just them as dollar bills. But no, and it's a way to meet people, younger people meeting each other who are like-minded. It's not the same people you're going to run into at a boxing match, right? Different kind of people. But it's interesting. I think it's really interesting on how you create markets. There's so many little markets. You don't need 2 million people to do something. He gets 10, 20 people at one of these things, and they're big successes. There are a bunch of cities already. It's growing all the time. And all you have to do, it doesn't cost you money. And you don't even have to give $10 if you don't want to, but that's what they ask as a donation. And all that money goes to the performers there. The young people are performing. And it's not 2 hours, it's 45 minutes, and then it's a party, and when you experience, you listen to him, it's how people experience this short amount of music that is really soulful music to most people in the world, I think, except to me, but maybe I'll change after this, that it really moves them so much that the conversation just explodes after one of these things. So watch this, and maybe you'll be affected the way I have. Well, Sam Botkin, man, you're the founder of GroupMuse.com. And I'll tell you, it's all about classical music. You're a classical music guy. You just ran into me. You're younger than both my sons, so I thought old people like me were into classical music. But in talking to you before we started this interview, man, you convinced me. I got to get to these classical music things you're doing. And,
and really keep in mind that Franz Schubert, one of the greatest artistic geniuses of human history, he was dead by the time he was 31 years old. So it's like this, and like this is some of the most stratospherically great stuff that's ever been created. He was not an old guy. He never got the chance to be an old guy. Humanity would be better had he gotten the chance to be an old guy, but alas, we were not so lucky.
Well, I'm not over yet. I figure I have 20, 30 more years yet, so I got a lot more to do. And but you're putting on now. Your motive is to really encourage people to appreciate classical music, and for the uninitiated like me, I listen to 3 minutes or whatever, and I get bored. But you really explained to me why this is important. But more important than that, that you've created these settings around the country where people could go, like in people's homes. People put parties together, almost like parties, social parties, and younger people are going to them instead of bars, and into these social settings in someone's apartment or home. And a group of like semi-professional classical music people come and play. And you're kicking $10 for them, but you have a wonderful evening, right?
That's exactly how it works. There's something uniquely warm and sort of convivial about the atmosphere, and I think that's because everyone is sharing a great masterwork of art together. So you show up at a group muse and you don't know anyone there, and there's still this sort of early party dynamic, ice needs to be broken, all that sort of stuff. But then you all come together and you sit on the floor, and we do floor seating, and you're like bunched in together like sardines in a can, and you collectively experience one of the shattering masterpieces of human history. And the thing is that these pieces, a lot of the time they're fun and exciting. Some of the time they take us to emotional places that are unfamiliar, and we go there together. Sometimes not just unfamiliar, sometimes they're just uncomfortable, like a Shostakovich string quartet can be scary and despair-inducing, and we're all doing it together. And then when intermission comes around, and especially after the music is done, the volume of conversation in the room just goes through the roof, because everyone has just shared this thing together, and we've all had this, like I say, a collective experience, and that's really when the group muse magic sets in, when we've all experienced something together and we just feel so alive.
Well, it's like Burning Man, though, with clothes on, right?
It's like Burning Man with clothes on and no fire, or less fire.
Yeah.
Sure, there's no fire.
But and the evening you mentioned, it's only 45 minutes of music, and really they're usually like 2-3 hour, parties or social things that people are interacting with. And another interesting thing, that these are not, you know, die-hard classical music lovers that are doing. I mean, I'm not going to be in there with some PhD physics or PhD in musicology, you know, kind of thing.
Certainly not. No, most of the people there are not regular classical music listeners, and yet they keep coming back week after week. I mean, it's this wild thing. Like, for a lot of folks, this was the first string quartet they'd ever seen, and now they've seen more classical, like performed classical music than any other form of performed art. You know, in the last 2 months, they see 10 in the over the course of 2 months, and whether or not they identify themselves as such yet, they are classical music listeners. You know,
it's so easy to do, isn't it? I mean, you just go to, you know, groupmuse.com, you sign up, find what's, you know, in your
no. I mean, it takes 30 seconds to sign up. It takes 30 seconds to RSVP. And in fact, hosting in some ways is even easier because you literally do not need to leave your house. And if you would like to stay in your pajamas and not put your shoes on, like it's kind of like magical. You go online, you press the host button. Within 90 seconds, you've filled out the necessary form, and then at the preordained time, musicians, very fine musicians, show up. Wonderful people show up. A great masterwork of art is recreated in your living room, and then
you meet a whole bunch of new people too that you never knew.
Exactly.
That are nice because they're not coming to a gladiator match. You know, they're coming to
exactly. Yeah, there's definitely a,
so this is wonderful. Well, I think it takes young people like you to see the needs that we really, you know, are missing in our society, and to provide them for us. So I'm glad you're there, Sam, doing this stuff, because old farts like me would never think of this stuff. So we need it, and people go to groupmuse, GROUPMUSE.com. I flunked English in college, so I spell everything for everybody. Just like me. I'm not as smart as you. Well, wonderful. Thank you again, Sam, and Group Muse is something we need. Thank you. Bye now. Well, you know what's really fun in life? Getting in on the beginning of something that's going up, something that's growing and exciting, and, you know, getting new ideas every day and new customers and all that kind of thing. Well, I mean, it makes life more rewarding. I mean, you don't want to be, you know, hooking up on something that's going down, like getting into a business to sell beepers or something like that. That's over. You know, or fax machines. You know, you want to be on phones that to go to the internet and videotape everything and all that. So but it's like that in everything. Like in food now, there's such a renaissance going in food, man. Everybody wants to eat well, and not only have all that junk that we sell in stores and prepackaged stuff. And there's growth now, particularly in urban areas, and of people eating better and paying extra money for that. And there's a lot of little businesses that are starting, whether it's a farmer's market or preparing food that is better and nutritious, because people are still too busy to spend all that time themselves. Now, this video is a young woman who does just that. And she was going on Kickstarter to raise more money to make a bigger venture out of this. But what's neat about it, she'll help anybody for free who wants to get in that kind of business. See, those kind of sustainable businesses, I mean, I really feel that the people who are in those businesses are less cutthroat and less dog-eat-dog, you know, like traditional capitalism business, you know. My computer's better than your computer and things like that. No, they work for a little different ideas sometimes than just money. Sure, we all have to have money to survive, but it's more comfortable going through life than if you're sharing and helping other people, right? And so if you're in a business that really provides nutritional food, so we don't have all these, you know, diseases that we have now, obesity, diabetes, heart control, so much of that is really the junk we're putting in our body. So she has a service that solves that problem. And it costs nothing to start. That's another thing. So many of these neat new businesses don't cost a lot of money. If you're going to get into a business that's established and here a long time, then you need credentials, you need a lot of money, you need all this kind of stuff. Things that are starting now, man, 1 week, 2 weeks, and you're an old timer in the business, and you have more credentials than anybody else. Yeah. And that's what's cool about it. So watch this interview and think about this. Or even if you're not, you know, food foodie and want to do something like this, but think about the new things that are happening that you could get on the ground floor and ride that wave. It's no fun to catch a wave out in the ocean that's already finished, right? You want to get a wave that's just starting. So watch this. Well, Monica Ford! And it's realfooddevotee.com. But more importantly, man, you're changing the way everyone's going to eat and live and enjoy life, especially old farts like me that I've started eating real, like you're professing, and I just started running faster than I have in the last 15 years. I don't know how the hell it happened. I thought I was going to get slower as I get older. But man, it's the fuel you're putting in there determines what the hell you're going to do in life, aren't you?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It changed my life as well, Malcolm.
And the complexion and everything. I mean, if you're half as vain as I am, you really have to start eating like this. You know, and the joy it brings somehow when you feel more satisfied in life. And most of that crap food is so addictive. You're an addict. You know, a sugar addict or a salt addict or a white flour addict or what the hell it is, and it's never satisfying. And you're teaching people how to live well again, right?
Yeah, that's what it's all about, right? Living with a little joy. Yeah, it's okay. It's so empowering to be able to eat good food and make yourself feel better. What power that is. That's wonderful.
But your business really makes it easy for anybody to get that good food. So I don't have to go to Whole Foods and know what all those funny things are. Then you put it all together and really you deliver in the area, in the LA area, and started this wonderful business educating people, right? Delivering great food that is going to keep them healthy for the rest of their life, and there's no magic, just love and hard work, isn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly right. You know, I wish that modern life was more conducive to us all cooking every meal at home, but I had to accept that it wasn't. So that's sort of how Real Food Devotee was born, just by making good food a little more convenient for people.
And now you're on Kickstarter crowdfunding, and you got $30,000 already. So if people are interested, right? It's just terrific. So you know this is a hot item. I mean, people all over are helping you grow this business. And so people watching this, if they're interested, you go to realfooddevotee.com and actually just see your video. Because your video there on Kickstarter, I mean, just tells it all. I mean, that wonderful young woman living out in the country, believing in you. And then you have a whole bunch of people. I mean, there must be 20, 30 people, doctors, nutritionists, everything, saying you walk on water. Aren't you embarrassed with all these people?
I have to admit, when I saw some of those videos, and we only used a fraction of them, we couldn't put them all in. I mean, people really came together to share their stories. And, we didn't coach them at all. We just said, just tell us how you feel about the food. Just tell us your story. And, I have to admit, both Elena, my partner, who's building this Kickstarter together with me, doing the Kickstarter together, we just, kind of had tears in our eyes when we watched this. It's just beautiful, and I love that people are so excited about it. It's wonderful. Well, so encouraging.
As you say that, I mean, that's why I'm trying to encourage people to do things like this. And you say that you will help people, over the phone, or if they come out and visit you, you're going to have internship programs and all this kind of stuff. That's what you're raising the money for, to do all these things. So that's cool. So anybody else wants to get involved with it. Because what you just said there was very important to me, how you can't believe the nice things people say. And what I feel that most of us go to work in some office where we're lucky if the boss says something nice to us once a year, right? Yeah. And here, you got a few hundred people already saying how great you are. I mean, what is better than that in life? Yeah.
I know. We were really touched by it, and we were also encouraged by, just asking people what they wanted, that they told us how much they wanted for this to be successful. So I don't even feel like the money is coming just to us. I feel like it's going to go right back out into our community. to not only bring the food to a wider delivery area and hopefully later shipping it, but also to facilitate people learning how to make this food themselves. If they don't want to purchase it, I want people to be able to know how to make it themselves. I believe it's empowering and wonderful for your health. And I also want there to be more real food entrepreneurs out there that are successful, because otherwise I'm the crazy lady who takes back food with me to the restaurant, and I don't want to be that. I want to be able to buy that food.
You don't want to be the bag lady anymore.
No, I don't. No more.
Well, I see. So you're really, I mean, that's what your fundraising is about, really helping other entrepreneurs do this. So if you're an entrepreneur or want to encourage this thing, because I think you're right. I mean, we should encourage this kind of development in every community. I mean, we have local people are interested in it, but they maybe not know, you know, how to get over the stumbling blocks that don't occur. And knowing someone like you is a way to get through that, because there are problems, and so if you figure out a way over them, then they're gone.
Yeah, please learn from our experience, you know? I could have, no matter how much research and due diligence I did before I began my little business, I learned so many things along the way just by trial and error, and I would love to impart that weird knowledge to other people.
Wonderful.
So that they can do it better.
You're a place that anybody could contact to find out about real food businesses to get participate.
Yeah.
And I guess it's not an industry or business. I mean, it seems like aspects of the business doesn't take a whole lot of money to start. I mean, you don't need to raise venture capital, you know, and get bank loans maybe, or whatever.
Yeah, you can start out small if you want to. You know, I mean, I think if you have someone who's willing to back you, who believes who believes in your project, then I think that's wonderful. I think it can be done in a lot of different ways. I started small. I was a personal chef here in Los Angeles.
I see. Oh, neat.
So I began from that. Just more people wanted this healing food. And so it became a different form, you know, instead of going to people's homes.
I see, right.
But I think it can take many different forms, and it's just, you know, to the limit of someone's imagination.
Now you're delivering food to them, right? Instead of cooking their home.
We have a food delivery service that people order online, and they get it delivered to their home the next week.
So you're the lady, and so many things starting in Southern California.
The kitchen door.
So realfooddevotee.com. Go there, watch the video, participate in your crowdfunding thing. It's a great thing to do, and actually now it's a benefit thing. So you get benefits if. And I see, you got
like a Kickstarter. I mean, you do go, you give money to this cause. Our project on Kickstarter is called the Real Food Culture Kitchen. And when you give, you get to choose from all these really cool real food rewards. We get some really awesome stuff. Some of our real food friends have donated amazing rewards. They're super cool. So check those out too.
And then in addition to that, or instead of, or whatever, is look at what you're doing as a source of where the future's heading. And if you think that this is an interesting place for you to be involved, that you're there to help others be involved and start new careers in this industry too, right?
Yeah. I mean, this is something that's for people who want to support local farms, who use ethical farming practices, who treat their employees fairly, and who make food that are good for people.
Whoa, what a concept! Food that's good for people. Well, wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Monica. And to find you and the campaign and everything you're doing, or find out more about how to start a business like this, Real Food Devotee, that's with 2 E's, right, at the end?
It sure is.
Devotee.com. And you'll find Monica and her buddy there who does this and all the neat stuff. And look at her car there. It's a neat car. I have one of those Scions too. So, but thanks for introducing everybody. Now the problem is everyone's going to run as fast as me out there.
That would be wonderful, wouldn't it?
Exactly. Thank you again, Monica. Take care. Okay, now there's 2 things going on in this next interview. One is how to lose weight by wearing earrings. That's right. And it's not those big rock earrings that some big muscle-bound guys wear that look like they're wearing plates in their ears. No, no. This is fashionable earrings, yeah. And the other thing is that the guy's from Canada, and he's actually born in India, and he's a student in Canada, but he just got a permanent visa because he has a bright idea about these earrings. They want entrepreneurs. They have special visas now for up to like 2,700, 3,000 people a year could come in if they have a bright idea and a great business plan. Now, gosh, in the United States, it costs like $500,000, you know, to start a business here if you're from another country. They want to, you know, want you to hire, I forget, like 10 jobs and have $500,000 in the bank. Here in Canada, you just need a business plan. Yeah, I mean, that's what's happening around the world. We're all competing for the brightest people in the world, you know, because the brightest people will create jobs. Creative people create jobs, and the data's out there that really shows that. So if you're a stick in the mud kind of person, you know, you're not going to be creating kind of jobs. So that's why, you know, people worried about the economy and worry about rising incomes and things like that are looking for creative people anywhere in the world. And that's why we used to be a magnet, you know, in the United States. All these people would come here and create jobs, and now we're making it harder and harder to come here and things like that. And so people go to Canada. Yeah, that's it. But these earrings too are a neat thing that you wear the earrings, and it's a heart monitor. It counts your calories, it counts your heart rate and everything, you know, show up on your app. So you're walking around all day and you decide to, you know, take the stairs instead of, you know, go on the escalator or whatever. You see how many more calories, or you go into a meeting with your boss, you know, and you're worried about it. Well, you can see if your heart rate is really responding to that terrible meeting you're having with your boss. So this is what technology is doing. You know, I think, you know, there's a lot of apps now with wristbands and, you know, chest things for monitor things like this. But now it's earrings. You never knew about earrings being a good place to monitor your health care. And actually what they do is after my soul about clothing, because you get it in any color you want and fashion. You put on, you know, on the little electronic device, you could put like 15 different colors on top of it or whatever. So it's a whole new world out there, not only for exercising and earrings and fashion, but also for entrepreneuring. I mean, you know, all over the world, everybody's trying to attract smart people. And we got to do that too in this country. So watch this. Well, Revenue Saini, man, you're, as you came as a foreign student to Canada, now you're getting a master's in Canada, but more importantly, you have something called the AeroSmart that you've invented, developed, that's going to revolutionize anybody who wants to monitor their health, you know, 24 hours a day without wearing some big, you know, handcuff bracelet or something like that, or a strap around your chest. It's just a little earring, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, it is. Thank you so much, Matthew. That's a good introduction. Yeah, it is a small earring which you can wear in an unobtrusive way to monitor your health throughout the day. And it's going to change the way people think of their health and how they monitor their health.
But more importantly, I could get 7 different colors with it very easily.
Yeah, you can create your own unique earrings. You don't even have to depend upon our earrings. You know, we give you a fitness monitor. It's a modular design. You create your own design, or you use our design. So
wonderful. Now this one, then the earring is hooked up to your phone, correct? And it gives you all the data about your heart rate, your really? It tells how much calories I'm walking around? Wow. So in other words, I could be walking around through my normal day and say, gee, look at me, I spent 250 calories already. Huh? And you were saying like 90% of the calories we burn in a day is really not in exercise, but it's just in our normal activities, right?
Yeah, true.
Wow.
It's very strange, you know, when you think about calories, I think we only work, when we work out in a gym, we burn calories, like, but the truth is that you only burn like 100 calories when you work in gym, but in a day you burn like 2,500 calories. So it's just a minuscule thing, right? And but you know, if you get data of 90% calories which you burn throughout the day, you may be you may start thinking in a different way, like, oh, let me take these stairs, or let me
I
stand
see,
full day, or let
right.
me walk to go to office,
Yeah.
not drive, right? So you can take some healthy decisions, very simple choices, but you can be more healthy, you can be more
I
active,
see.
and
Well,
that.
actually, but you have a motivator because I'm there. Now, let's see if I took the elevator or walked the stairs. Let me walk the stairs. Wow, that's 50 calories I did right there. I do
True.
10 of those, and that's 500 calories, and I lost a pound in 3 days. Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And especially people also who work for cardio exercise, they
Right.
based on their heart rate, they change their
Hmm.
exercise, and this could be a cool product for them.
Yeah.
You set alerts like, oh, alert me when I have this heart rate, and then I change my exercise, like slow down, I pace myself up.
I see.
It can be
So
used
you
in
can,
many ways for the people.
or to me, it's really, I have to have a meeting with the boss. I wonder what my heart rate is now. And you're worried about the meeting, and your heart is pumping. Yeah. So it'd be a good way to plot your emotional condition as well as your physical condition. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's terrific. Now, what made you think of this thing? I mean, does everyone in you're from India originally, right? Does everybody in India have all these already, or what?
No, no, no. Well, it's just did this research in Canada, and this because of this cutting edge technology which is available over here, we were able
Uh-huh.
to have this product out there. We had some engineering challenges, and we overcame with that. And it's all about bringing new technology in
Right.
wearable market. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting too. Before we went on the air, that you were telling me Canada is sort of like nicer for being an entrepreneur than the United States. Here to start a business, you need like $500,000. You have to hire 10 people. Up there, you just need a good business plan that you can say you're going to have to create jobs in Canada, and like $75,000 is from an investor or somebody. And man, you got a resident card or whatever it is.
Oh yeah, government is doing a great job over here to promote entrepreneurship, and
Yeah.
what they have many programs, and one of the program is there are many programs out there, and one of the program is like a startup visa, which basically
Ah.
gives you permanent residence straight away for coming here and creating jobs, or not even if you create economic growth, and you just need a good business plan. And if somebody is ready to invest, some angel is ready to invest $75,000
Yeah.
in your plan,
Wow.
and
That's
that's it.
amazing.
You
So-
are ready to go.
Wow, so I see these business plan competitions. They get 5 grand, 10 grand. But here, man, if you're from a underdeveloped country, man, this is a business plan where you get a permanent visa. Yeah. Well, what could be better than that? It's worth $500,000 here. Well, that's fantastic. And so now you're fundraising at Kickstarter. You just started, and you got all these backers already. So this thing, it looks like successful, and people could buy it now. I guess it's going to be a lot cheaper if they get it now than if
Oh,
they
yeah.
wait till this is in full production, right?
Of course, yeah, it's much cheaper, and we are giving a lot of freebies. I mean, we are giving them free calendars for next year, motivation thing. And also, we are giving them discounted price right now. It's
Right.
much cheaper to buy right now because we want some capital to make it
Right.
to promise to our suppliers, and also we are ready to give pass on the benefit to our customers who will be our
So I mean,
early
now I
adopters.
think the start-in price is something like $100, $120, $25, something like that.
Yeah,
So-
125 Canadian dollars. Yeah.
Right. Oh, Canadian. So what's that in U.S. dollars? Yeah, I
I
forget.
think about 110 or something.
Oh yeah, so it's a little less. So now, what do you envision will be the manufacturer's suggested retail price upon what when
Well-
you're in stores?
Yeah, well, I think it'll be upward from $150. It will start from
Ah.
150 to upward. It depends upon our retail
Yeah.
store and our global location, but
Right.
yeah, it won't be as cheap as
Right,
can
so
get
you
right
would
now.
never see it as this cheap again. So it's all of interest. You'd be the first on your blog to be jogging in the morning. Well, don't even have to be. You could be walking to work and counting your calories.
Yeah.
You could be even sitting on the bus and counting your calories, and you see how much that does. And really, it seems like a great motivation to change your habit, because so much of us are easy to be lazy. Lazy is easy, and we all need some kind of little extra motivation to do what's right for us, and that's why it seems like a product like this you know, a wonderful motivator for all of us to keep more fit and get those healthcare bills down. And I think when you're more fit, not only healthcare bills go down, but your, you know, enthusiasm goes up. You feel better about yourself, and you could give more back to the world and invent your own product. Then, right?
That's very true.
So you're going to change the whole way that people live and contribute to society just by putting on an earring. Boy. Well, that's wonderful. So to find out about you can get through the Kickstarter campaign by going EAR, that's E-A-R-O, SMART, S-M-A-R-T.com, and you find out about you and all this kind of stuff, and go right to Kickstarter and find out and watch that wonderful video. Man, that video you did there as well. I want to know that office. Now, is that really your office you're sitting? That's
Yeah.
it is. Wow, that's a beautiful place. Wow, that's terrific. Yeah, it looks like, oh, you're in some futuristic movie or something like that. That's a real exciting place. Well, that's terrific. Well, thank you so much for being there. And if people want to know more, they go to ear, as in your ear, osmart.com. Thank you so much.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Bye. Have a great day.